Violet Vixen, we are making roast pumpkin risotto. It's a pretty easy one, which is what we like, and it's not one of those over the stovetop absorption methods where you put a little bit of the stock in at a time. It's get it all into the oven, and it's an easy one. Currently got the pumpkin roasting because I'm in a little bit of a hurry. I want to try and actually be able to take this for my lunch today, so I'm trying to rush it through. So pumpkin's already in the oven at 200 degrees. This is what we need. So I did not have 750 grams of pumpkin when I weighed it, seeds and all. It was about 690 grams, but that's okay. I just used what I brought, which was half a butternut pumpkin. It is what it is. You can't really weigh it. And plus, cling wrap it shouldn't be counted as food, but somehow it is. We've got our large brown onion, arborio rice. Supposed to have 2 cups. I've only got 1.5 cups, so it's going to have less rice, which doesn't really worry me, because I am going to be starting to put portions of food into freezers. So this is actually going to be a really good turn for this show, where I'm basically showing you how to cook a normal meal for 4 people, have it for 2 nights, and then freeze the rest. So if you get home or whatever and you go, what do I want for dinner? You just go get something out of the freezer and know that you've cooked it yourself and it won't take long to do. So we've got that. Therefore, the 1 litre of vegetable stock is going to be too much, because we should really have 2 cups of rice, 2 cups of that. Well, that's actually a litre, so that's more, but it doesn't matter anyway. So there is possibly going to be a bit more liquid in it, but keep in mind, if I am freezing it, it might not be a bad thing. So that's okay. And the only other thing that we need is the grated parmesan. That's that one there. Okay, so let's recap. Pumpkins in the oven, all diced up nice and small. 200 degrees for 20 minutes. And we're going to get a saucepan onto the stovetop to get the rest of everything going. Then we're going to chuck it into something and put it in the oven. So let's go. What are we waiting for? So basically, for you who have been following the show, there is, I work 6 days a week. I have currently got my mother, who's now just been moved to palliative care. So therefore, even the days where I don't finish work late, they can become quite late. So what I like to do, I used to do this all the time. I used to come home and have a really large meal. So if I finished work at, say, 8:30 and I got home at 9, I'd come home and I'd have a really big meal. And then, of course, I'd try and sleep on it, which, lucky I'm so tired, I'll sleep anyway. And you just feel horrible, basically, into the night. And then in the morning, you feel hungry, or you feel, lethargic, whatever. You just don't want to know about anything. So what I've started doing is, because I'm cooking how I'm cooking now, this risotto will serve 4 people. I will have it take it for 2 lunches, so that I'm having it about 2 o'clock, 2:30 in the afternoon. I'm having a good size meal. And then sometimes in the afternoon or the evening, I might just have a coffee, some yogurt, some fruit. Unfortunately, at the moment, I've got some chocolate. But I will actually not go to bed on that big meal. And if I can actually start to sleep a lot more, I might feel better. But anyway, for now, it is what it is. I do what I have to. And everyone says, make sure you eat. So I think at the end of the day, I think I do eat better than most people do. Considering I've got takeaway food in my face 3 days a week, I'm doing pretty good. So anyway, enough about that. We're making risotto. Okay, so first thing we need to do is spray the saucepan. Now, ideally, if you have there is such thing, it's called an oven-proof casserole. That is exactly what it does. You can use it on the stovetop and in the oven. One of those is possibly on my wish list, but for now, I'm just happy to go from one into another thing and then into the oven. So, glug in some olive oil and start and get that hot. And I don't know if you just heard that buzzer in the background, but it's pumpkin time. Just get the oven mitt. I haven't put my apron on today because I'm sort of in a hurry. I'm supposed to be getting ready for work. But anyway, so let's have a look at this pumpkin. Okay, now that's looking really nice. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get a knife. And it should be alright if I sit it on top of that because it's hot anyway. Grab yourself a knife and stab at your pumpkin. Your pumpkin needs to be soft. It's not super soft, which in a way is good because we are actually going to be putting this in the oven as well. And keeping in mind, I'm not eating this right now, so it's going to be warmed up. So you do not want your pumpkin to be already to be mashed up. You want it still a bit firm. So we're happy with that. So set that aside in the background. Okay, so once that saucepan's nice and hot, grab that chopped onion and in it goes. Now, if you can wash up as you go, it will be so much quicker for you. Get your handy stirring spatula and just give that a good stir. Alright, so oven-proof casserole. I actually have casserole pots. I'm just going to use one of those. So I have probably the best one. Oh, my mum was great for these casserole pots. She used to make a lot of casseroles. And this one is probably the best sized one because I think it is the biggest one that we have. Even though it's got a slight chip, I probably caused that. The great thing is it's got a lid that goes on it. So when you go to put it in the fridge, it actually is good as well. And the fact that I'm actually going to cook it, let it cool down and then go in the fridge possibly means that I'll be able to cut it into portions. 2 portions and then 2 for the freezer. So it is going to be a good thing. Alright. Come and have a look at my onion. There you go. Alright, so we just want this to be brown. Okay. You got the pumpkin behind there. Beautiful. You can use any sort of pumpkin. I just literally had to grab what I could. And I'm very excited because I've actually made an arrangement with one of the delivery drivers. So what I do is I get meat delivered every week. And I normally go to Aldi, but lately hospital's been more important than food. So it's Coles on a Wednesday night. And now I'm going to actually get my fruit and veg delivered as well. So I'm going to have a lot better produce. So I recommend if you're in the, if you're able to do so, support your local butcher because you get better meat. I've found that out very quickly. And same deal with your fruit and veg. If you can, you'll get better fruit and veg as well. Okay, so when you're happy with how that is looking, you want it soft but not too soft, and you don't want it to burn. Grab your 2 cups of arborio rice. Mine's only 1.5 cups. As I said, I'm already prepared for this because it's going to end up more watery. But you know what? Half a cup of stock isn't really that much. Stir it to coat it. Now you're probably wondering, what am I coating it in? There's no liquid in here. Basically, you just stir it so that your rice has that opaque colour to it. Okay. Now, risotto is really good when you can time everything right. That's why I like this one, because I'm actually going to put it all in the oven. Now, 1 litre vegetable stock. I recommend you buy it this way, only if you're going to be using the whole litre. Stir it as you go. Now we want to bring this to the boil, and keeping in mind because there's less rice, more liquid, we want to try and boil it off for a bit. So I'm going to leave it on the stovetop for a bit longer than I should. That way that will encourage a bit of that liquid to burn off. But as I say, it's not a bad thing because a little bit of liquid in the freezer is probably going to be a good idea. Okay. So that we're going to bring to the boil. And we're going to get ready to put it in the oven. Easy. Now turn the oven down to 180. Give this a few more stirs. We just want to bring this to the boil. And I've left it on the highest temperature for the obvious reason. It will boil quicker. So what we're going to do is we're going to tip this into that casserole pot, which normally I'd say to spray, but the fact that we've got so much liquid in it, I don't think we need to worry about it. Once we cook that in the oven for 20 minutes, we're then going to put the pumpkin on the top, and then we're going to sprinkle it with the Parmesan cheese, and then it's ready to serve. Which in my case, it's ready to divide into portions, but all good. So yes, keep in mind if you are doing what I'm doing, not eating it straight away, doesn't matter if it's undercooked because you will always cook it while you're warming it up. Same with the pumpkin. Alright, nearly there. Okay, now that it's boiling, I'm going to remove it from the stove top and pop it into that casserole pot. Maybe I'm lucky I was half a cup short of rice. That's pretty full. Alright, whack on your lid. Into the oven 180 for 20 minutes and we will return. Okay, so I've just pulled that out of the oven after the 20 minutes. It's going to be bloody hot. Grab a spoon. Give it a good stir. I'm just going to use a little spoon, I think. Alright, now as you can see, it's still very liquidy. As I said, we will expect that anyway. We are now going to stir that pumpkin through. Which I think we're getting a bit full here. Pop the pumpkin in. The smart thing to do would be to take some out, but yeah, I'm not going to do that. I actually just want to have it all aboard. Beautiful. All right. Now we want to put that Parmesan cheese on top. I'm not going to stir the pumpkin in too far, only because that is actually going to sink down anyway. And of course, when I go to serve it, it's going to get mixed in too. half a cup of Parmesan. Of course it comes out in big chunks. I keep mine in the freezer, by the way. Alright, so that will help actually absorb some of that in as well. Just crumble those flakes up, those big chunks I should say. Alright, serve that up immediately, which means now, and enjoy. Thank you for watching Cooking with Violet Vixen Roast Pumpkin Risotto. I am going to catch you very soon for another cooking adventure. Stay safe. Bye.